Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Val, in case you don't know, and I am the Happy Lifter. And today I want to talk to you about competitions. Because I've noticed that when I say things like powerlifting, strongman, even weightlifting, a lot of people have no idea what I'm talking about or get them confused. And so I wanted to talk about my journey and the reason why it seems like I'm signing up for a bunch of meets in different sports. And yeah, that's true. And I want to tell you about why I've chosen specific sports and why I'm not competing in other sports anymore. Or at all. So starting off, I'm going to tell you about my training history. I've touched on the subject a lot deeper in my 100th video. I can link that in the description below. But basically, I come from a martial arts background. So my competition history was basically, home meets of Muay Thai fights or sometimes even going to Toronto to compete in Toronto and Montreal to compete in jiu-jitsu. And those competitions are usually people yelling at you, telling you to hit the girl in the face or to do a submission or whatever, and it's very lively. And then when I moved into CrossFit, I realized that I wasn't very good at it. So this is, no knocking myself. I just feel like I don't have all the movements down yet. So it wouldn't make sense for me to compete. I know that you can compete in a scaled category, but for me, it's like if I don't have the movements down, I don't want to compete at all. So CrossFit right now is not an option. And then I did weightlifting competitions in-house, very informal, but I hated it. And I think now I can look back and realize why I hated it, but before I just kind of was like, oh my god, I hate it, why do I hate it, maybe I suck at it. And I kind of sucked at it in the beginning anyway, but the other reason is because it's so different. Weightlifting is snatch and clean and jerk. Those are two movements that you get 3 tries to get as much weight as possible. It has to be technically correct, you need to have good form, and you have judges telling you, if you got it or not. And it's very touchy, very technical. There are a lot of opportunities to miss your lift. There are a lot of opportunities to just not get a good lift, and that's based on judges, and it's usually a very quiet setting, and I think that's what disturbed me the most. And I don't know why that affects me so much, but I'd rather have people encouraging me and yelling at me and telling me that I'm the best, even though I might not be. So when all of a sudden I'm thrown into this very quiet room filled with people just staring at me, and I get the golf clap or the when the judges tell me I don't have a lift, it's just so weird. And so I did not recognize myself in that. I did not feel good in that sport or in that competition setting, although I absolutely love weightlifting and I do it in training all the time, and I do want to pursue it as a training method, if that makes sense. I don't want to compete in it. And also in weightlifting, you have weight classes, and so if I'm lifting 150 pounds at 150 pounds, that's cool. If a girl who weighs 120 pounds lifts as much as I do, she's fucking awesome. So that's the other thing. I don't think I'm strong enough to compete in weightlifting just yet, and that's probably going to affect me in other sports also. But I've been doing weightlifting for a while, and I kind of think that, you get a sense of if you're good at it or not after a little bit. So putting that aside for a while, I trained in CrossFit more. I got in better shape. I didn't really get that much stronger in the last few months, but in the last few months I also got injured twice. And the one injury that really kind of set me back, aside from my concussion, was my finger. I couldn't do a lot of really high repetition movements. I couldn't do a lot of intense things or holding on to stuff. So I had to default to powerlifting. Powerlifting is squat, bench, deadlift, and it's similar to weightlifting in the sense that you have judges giving you commands, and it's very technical still, but you have that other aspect of people yelling at you in the competition setting. So I found that really interesting when I started looking into it, and I was just training that way because I had no other option. And I kind of realized that my body is actually quite well suited for that because I'm a turtle. I'm slow. I'm not the rabbit. I am very much slow. I lift heavy and then I sit down, and that makes me happy. So realizing that about myself was pretty big and kind of made me shift my mindset into, well, maybe I need to be doing other sports. And that doesn't mean that I want to stop doing weightlifting. It doesn't mean that I want to stop doing CrossFit, But if I want to compete, I might have to look at something else, you know? So fast forward a few months, I've been training powerlifting because I kind of needed to and because I wanted to stay active while my finger healed. And then some of the girls at the gym said, hey, I have this powerlifting competition coming up. You want to sign up? And I was like, yeah, why not? And as I started looking into it, I realized that the setting was similar to something that I recognized from martial arts and also from CrossFit competitions where people are yelling, cheering you on, there's music, and it looks really fun. I've never been to a powerlifting competition. I've seen a lot online, I've been doing a lot of research, and I think I'm gonna enjoy it. Although there is still that stress of performing and pleasing the judges kind of, and making sure that they think you're making a good lift. So that's very still in the back of my mind, but I think the sport itself is better suited for me. I think I'm not gonna worry as much because weightlifting you can miss a weight that you lift all day, every day. It's just how it is. Whereas powerlifting, there's a little bit more wiggle room because it's just pure strength. And that's not to say that I'm really strong. I'm still working up to some basic strength, but I feel like in the last few months, I've seen a lot of changes in my body that I'm really liking, and I think my body's just responding really well to that kind of training. And so I see myself maybe right now not placing in the sport and not doing so well because there's still weight classes, but maybe in the future, I think that could be a thing. So I guess we'll see. And then there's strongman. Strongman is a really weird sport. It is the things that you see on TV where there's really big dudes, and there's strong women too, although it's not as popular. Just lifting awkward objects, carrying stuff across distances, pulling cars or planes. We're not gonna pull a plane, let's just be real here. But it's just really weird and wacky and looks really fun. And how I got into that is actually the owner of my gym is really passionate about strongman. He does a lot of that training. We have some of the equipment at the gym. And after I signed up for the powerlifting meet, a lot of girls started talking about strongman, and the owner's wife actually approached me and said, hey, a bunch of girls are gonna do strong women stuff and we're probably gonna sign up for the competition. Do you wanna come? And at that point I was like, maybe my hand isn't that great for gripping and pulling things, but I'll try it, because don't knock it until you try it, obviously. So I tried it. I did a few training sessions with the girls and I really enjoyed it. I was very skeptical. I thought, you know, I'm not very strong at CrossFit. I can barely do some of the body weight movements. How the fuck am I gonna do this? And turns out I'm actually better at it. Somehow my body just figures it out. I don't know if it's just because it's not so high repetition, high volume, and it's more like you hunker down, you do the thing, and then you stop. So that kind of reminds me of powerlifting a little bit. And again, it's all about strength. It's a strength sport. A lot of gigantic people are in strongman and strong women, and they're just massive and amazing. And that kind of makes me feel better about my weight, because I figure like I can be in a weight class and do totally fine. Obviously I'm gonna have to build my strength once again, but I have signed up for the competition after all. I am doing the strong women competition. I don't think I'm gonna place, just like powerlifting, I'm probably not gonna place, but it's not about that. So for me right now, and I've mentioned this in my resolutions video, I just wanna enjoy competing again. And so I think, you know, with the powerlifting being, you know, so cool and fun and music blaring and people yelling and cheering, that's gonna be fun. Strongman is probably gonna be a little bit weirder, but it's probably gonna be more similar to CrossFit in the sense that it's 1, 2, 3, go, you fucking pull that thing. And so I think that's gonna be really exciting, and it's probably gonna be just really fun and something else to try, and probably training outside, which is also a lot more like CrossFit. So we'll see. Maybe I won't do well, maybe I'll fucking hate it, but my goal for these two competitions coming up, one's in May, one's in June, I just want to have fun. I just want to enjoy it again. I want to go to that competition, show up, do the thing. If I bomb out, I bomb out, but at least I did it with a smile on my face. Those are my only requirements for myself. Beyond that, it's gonna be gravy. So if you're like me and kind of afraid of competing, or maybe you've never competed ever, I think that's a good attitude to have when you get into it, and also it's good to try things. So that's why I'm not mad that I tried weightlifting competitions and hated them, because I had to try it to know. And so maybe one day I'll do CrossFit also competitions if ever I get the feeling that I want to. And I might hate it also, who knows? So It's just about trying it, and it's about not putting so much pressure on yourself. I think that's really important. Because that's another thing that I did in weightlifting. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I think it's the setting also that's so serious that you're kind of forced into that mindset, whether you want to or not. So we'll see. I will keep you guys posted. Obviously, I'm going to be posting videos of my training and of the competitions, because you guys want to see what that's about. You really do. If I'm not impressive, there's going to be a lot of impressive people over there. I'm really excited just to see who shows up and who does what. So keep your eyes out for those videos. And if you're interested in these sports that I mentioned, powerlifting, strongman, weightlifting, even CrossFit, let me know in the comments if you want me to make an explanatory video about them, or just tell you more about my experience in them, or if you have questions, I can answer them. And also, if you're interested in nutrition, just letting you know that I have a nutrition coaching business. And if you're interested in cleaning up your diet, getting some macros for you, getting some performance nutrition going, just drop me a line at the email below, thehappylifter@gmail.com, and we'll set something up for you. And as always, guys, take care. I will probably be posting one video a week, mostly these next few weeks, but who knows, maybe I'll do a double, because that's always fun. But take care until then, and I will see you next time. Bye!